90-90 hamstring bridge. You can use a setup similar to what I am doing here, or you can also put your feet on the wall for this. I'm showing you this way just for the sake of filming, but a lot of times people will do this with their feet on a wall. We're going to start with our feet, our knees, and our hips at 90 degrees. This is really important. We want to make sure that we get this angle looking really sharp at 90 degrees. Now the next thing we're going to do is gently tilt our pelvis up towards our rib cage. When you tilt your pelvis up towards your rib cage, I don't want you to squeeze your glutes, okay? You should be able to keep your glutes nice and jiggly as you tilt your pelvis up to your rib cage. There's zero reason you need to squeeze your glutes to get your pelvis to kind of roll underneath you just a little bit. Now from here, what we're gonna do is, if you have your feet on the wall, you're gonna start to pull down with your heels, but you're not gonna physically move your feet down the wall. I want you to make sure that you can feel the whole bottom of your foot on the wall, so underneath your big toe, your pinky toe, and your heel. Make sure you feel those 3 points of contact, that nice tripod foot against the wall. Or if you're using a setup like you see me doing here, you're just going to kind of gently start to push and pull down into the bench that we're using. We've got that nice posterior pelvic tilt. What we're looking for is a feeling of sensation in our hamstrings. We're really looking to find this in our proximal hamstrings, and that is the portion of your hamstring that is closest to your glutes. It is okay if you feel it more in the meat of your hamstrings. What I don't want is for you to only feel it in your distal hamstrings, and that's that part right here. So if you are only feeling this behind your knee, make sure to kind of wiggle, reset a little bit, and then work to find it in that more proximal part of your hamstring. Now from here, what we're gonna do is you can actually kind of feel on your legs, like let yourself like totally loosey-goosey every single thing, and then move into that posterior pelvic tilt. Make sure you don't feel any tension in the glutes, and then start to pull down with your legs and see if you can feel those hamstrings really kind of turn it on. You will feel more tone in the muscle behind your leg right here, and it's really cool to feel it on yourself. Now from here, you're just going to let your palms face up, and I want you to think about everything in your body being super relaxed except for your hamstrings, okay? This part of our hamstrings right here. We're going to keep the position. We're just going to imagine that part of our hamstrings pulling our pelvis straight up. So we're doing a bridge, but we're really using the hamstrings to facilitate the motion. And then I want you to keep your pelvis in that posterior position, and you're going to let your glutes come back down towards the ground. And you're just going to come gently up, thinking about hamstring, 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 hamstring. You don't need to squeeze your glutes to come up. In fact, when you're in this top position right here, you can literally touch your glutes and they should jiggle, okay? So we want to make sure that we're really using the hamstrings to get our pelvis to come up and down. What we don't want to see is, as you're coming up, that you kind of fall back into this anterior tilt right here, really kind of getting the motion more from your low back. And we also don't want to really tuck under when we're trying to come up. So you can notice right here, as I'm coming up, I'm in that posterior tilt, but then I just tuck even more, and here I'm squeezing in on those glutes to get up, okay? So our main goal is to just really isolate those hamstrings, and for me, it helps me to think about the rest of my body being jello besides my hamstrings, because I've got lots of other muscles that will want to kick in for the hamstrings. I get that gentle posterior tilt, everything else is jello. Give the booty, just like literally shake it, because I promise you that your glutes will want to clench in to try to get your hips up. So you make sure everything else is loose, the quads too, and you're just going to pull up with the hamstrings, gentle. You don't have to go super high. You'll know when you're like, okay, yep, that's it for me. And then you just gently come back down and repeating that motion. Again, really looking to isolate more of the meat of the hamstring and that proximal attachment. I want you to feel it a lot more there than you feel it behind your knees. All right, those are your 90-90 hamstring bridges.